I haven't shown this one. I will show it and I will record it. So the firewall, the way you installed it, it's the same like the pfSense from the movies. The type is BSD, it's free BSD. Here you don't need to choose anything on the advanced tab. Here just remove the network. Be sure you're going to choose USB tablet. It will be the same with the CentOS 7 installation. And any Unix and Linux, you need to change from PC to mouse to USB tablet. The storage, you're going to find it into the shared folder. It's called OpenSense. It's a fork of pfSense. I found it a little bit easy to work with. The network, you have 3 networks. It's a little bit different how you set it up here, comparing to the pfSense. We use the same adapters as in pfSense, but they're in a different order. So actually the LAN adapter, the host-only adapter, which we're going to have access locally from our local computers as well, is on the adapter 1. Otherwise on pfSense it's on adapter 2. And on adapter 2 you have the 1, and we're going to choose the bridge adapter for this. And adapter 3 is internal network. Okay, so that's the difference. Adapter 1 and adapter 2 here, the places have changed. Share folders I don't need to choose. Something else what you need to do if you to have the NAT network on the preferences, just to remind you, you navigate to the network and you create with clicking on plus on NAT network. And for the host-only adapter, I would suggest you could use the default one, but I would suggest you change it to something a little bit more user-friendly. So go File, Host Network Manager, and there will be one which we want 92.168.56.1. Well, I change it to 100, and I allow the DHCP server. It will be enabled by default too, and I change here the addresses. Just change it to correspond to whatever I've chosen here in the initial thing. So that's the preliminary thing which I did. These are the these are the things which I did. For CentOS 7, you know how to install it. It will be with graphical interface. That's the one actually. And the server 2016, the same thing. So I'm going to start the installation first of the OpenSense by clicking Start. It will look very, very similar to pfSense installation. That's the initial screen. Actually, it will start live. I will wait until it's prompting me to log in. So it will be about 2 minutes. Once again, on comparing to, I mean, these are the machines we're going to use as templates in VirtualBox. And on a GNS3, you need from Viral the Cisco switch and the Firefox machine for testing purposes. I also imported the router just in case if we decide to do a router on a stick. Now notice that my GNS3 virtual machine actually is in a VirtualBox. This is the something which comes with the new 6.1 version of VirtualBox. It has already nested virtualization. It doesn't work very well yet. So basically be sure you use still the GNS3 virtual machine in VMware player as we did up to now. Now that's the moment where we need to change some things here. Okay, as you see now, it's prompting me. It is prompting me to put a login. So the default login when it's a live system at the moment. It's not installed anywhere. It's giving me the LAN IP address, and DHCP it's getting from the network, which is it's on another room. That's why the network address is a little bit different than this room. Okay. So by the way, I could try to ping it from my real computer. So let's try to ping from my real computer. That's my computer where I am at the moment. This is a remote computer where I'm recording. So let's try to ping this IP address. So I'm gonna do ping and 192.168. That's very important thing if we're gonna need to access web interface inside, let's say the web server inside our infrastructure. So 172.26.43.6. It's a live system, it might not be accessible, so it's fine. We're going to make it accessible. Here, I'll do the just to see my network address. So you see I'm on a different network. It's 172.26.21. Okay, so we'll fix this. Okay, here. So as soon as we get to the this screen here in the firewall, what you need to do is to use the default installer account. Installer, and the password is OpenSense, OPN Sense, one word, small letters. Here it is. And basically it's very pretty straightforward. You just click enter here, you accept, you use the guided installation. Well, that's the hard drive we're going to use. That's the only different, I mean, the only thing you need to click differently, you need to go to the master boot record mode, not the GPT UEFI mode, okay? That's the only difference you need to be aware of. And then you just wait until it's installed. It will prompt you for a password creation, and then you reboot. While I'm waiting this to finish, I will start the installation of my server and my web server. There is nothing different than what I've shown in the previous movie, so I'm not gonna record this actually. I will show it to you after this when it's installed. I will enter the password. It's going to be short as well. It's only for the lab, and I'm using the same password most of the time. And then you just click tap and accept and set. And when it says reboot, you just click enter, and you will reboot. Okay. In the background, I'm showing also the installation of the Windows Server and the CentOS 7 web server. I just gonna you have everything already in my movies. I'm not gonna do any further explanation about it. Just follow them. Now, when you see this rebooted, you need to shut it down manually, the firewall, because you need to remove actually you need to remove from the storage the installation CD. Otherwise, it will start the installation once again, and you need to start it manually. When you see the initial screen, you have two options: either click on F1 key or just wait a little bit and it will start by itself. Here how it looks when it starts. Now it will find out all needed devices, it will do the initial installation, and we need to do some additional settings then. Now this is the initial installation we have. That's what we have as a LAN interface and what we have as a WAN interface. Okay, so we need to do something additional. I will put the root as a user. That's how we're going to access from this on the command line and the web interface. And I'm going to use the password which I just created while I was installing it. And as you see, it looks very, very similar to pfSense actually. It's giving me an IP address of 172.26.43.6, which is in the network there. So what's different between OpenSense and pfSense here is that you need to configure, well, in the pfSense you need to do the same. You need to configure your local area network. It's to mimic and it's to be part of the one we installed here, the host-only adapter. And if you remember, the host-only adapter address was 192.168.100. That was the network address. So here I'm going to choose the option 2 to set type interface IP address. And then I'm going to choose option 1, which is for the LAN. I will skip this thing, so I'll click enter. The new IP address will be 192.168.100.254. It's an empty one. 24 will be my CIDR. Here is only enter. This one you don't need, so you're gonna say N and click enter. This is the default, so you click enter here. This is enter too. Yes, I want to have a DHCP on my interface, so I'll click Y and click enter. And the IP addresses will be 192.168.200. I'm sorry, 100.200. And then I will do the final 192.168.100.250. Now I need to stop the one which is on my interface on the VirtualBox, and I'm going to show it to you. I don't want HTTP to be the web GUI interface, so I'm going to choose the default N for no, so clicking enter. I don't want this because I want my interface to be accessible securely through HTTPS. Okay, and it will build it now, and it will show me how I need to access from my browser. Okay, so actually if I open the browser here, and I put this IP address because I'm using host only adapter, it will be accessible from my host without any additional settings and setups. So 100.254, here it is. So I would need to go to the advanced. I need to proceed to this IP address. Root is the username, and the password you have created already. As with pfSense, there will be an initial wizard. So I just do next. I'm gonna call it firewall1. My domain, which I'm gonna use, is test.l. Okay, primary DNS and secondary I'm gonna leave for now like this. It will use it by itself for a resolver, and it will be resolver here. Okay, and that's the DNS instance they're gonna use. I'll click next. I'll choose my time frame. That's for the one interface I wanted with DHCP. I did it already. Now blocking the I don't want I mean in the real life this one supposed to stay like this, but I don't want it because I'm not gonna be in the real life. I'm in a lab, and actually my one interface has private IP address, so I'm gonna block this too. That's something, but in pfSense we did the same. That's the IP address I've chosen with the subnet. Now I'll just click next. I will repeat my password, which I already use. You could change it here if you want. And I'm gonna reload my firewall, and basically the firewall would be installed. Here it is. If I do continue to the dashboard, here how it looks. It's much more cleaner, and it's much more easy to navigate. So that's why I'm choosing this this edition. For now, actually, well, I could create the interfaces, but for now I'm gonna skip this. I will just go here where it says power. I'm gonna power off the firewall. I'll say yes, and then I would navigate to the VirtualBox. I will create a snapshot on it, and I will clone it. Okay, so here it is. Hamburger menu, snapshots. I'm not gonna do anything about this. It's done. Right click and do clone. Well, this one will be called firewall 1, let's say. It will be link clone once again. I'll choose the new MAC address to be generated for all of my interfaces. I'll say clone. It will be very fast because it's obviously, I'll move it on that side. I could test it. It's a good idea to test the cloning. Always test the clones. Testing from here, it's easy. Going to the services, interfaces, diagnostics. You have all of the diagnostics available here. Ping. I could ping Google by name, and I could choose interface from which to. I could choose the interface from which to ping it. I could say from the LAN. As you see, from the LAN I have access. Well, obviously, if I do from one, when you're logged in the command line, you choose number 5. You say yes, and it will shut down the instance. So my cloning firewall also is working. So let's finish this guy now. So once again, I created the templates. Disregard the GNS3 VM. I'm using the new version once again, as I mentioned, the new version, which allows nested virtualization. It's still in better base, so don't do it. Okay, use your virtual machine in the VMware player as usual. Now I install the firewall OpenSense, and it's recorded here. I installed the server and the web server with graphical interface, both this one on the 2016 and this one on the CentOS 7. I checked all of them. I created the snapshots, and I cloned them. As soon as I clone them, I check the clonings as well. Okay, so now my infrastructure is kind of done. So what I need to do is to close actually Oracle, and I need to import them into the GNS3. Once again, in GNS3, I have for testing purposes the Firefox imported, and I have the switch. Additionally, even though I might not use it, I imported from Viral the router as well. So I call this practical. That's what you're going to do most probably, the practical exam with this. And I'm going to start my infrastructure. First thing, I'm going to use the cloud. I'll put the cloud, everything on the GNS3, what is possible. I'll call it internet as usual. You see there is a couple of interfaces. This one I additionally added. In your virtual box, in your VMware, actually, what you need to do is you need to open, before opening GNS3, so if it's open already, you need to shut down GNS3. You need to go to the GNS3 VM afterwards on the VMware workstation. You need to right-click all settings, and you need to change the first interface, which is the network adapter host only. You need to change it to bridge, or you could add with this button, but it will prompt you for a password, so you need to ask the guys from IT to come help you. You could add here an additional network adapter, just clicking next, and choose it to be bridge. So you need a bridge adapter. Okay, it's very important to have it, so to be able to access the real network through it. Okay, so that's what you're gonna do on the GNS3 VM. Once again, if it's open with the GNS3, you need to shut down GNS3, to shut down this guy and open it separately. Do whatever you do here, right-click in settings, or here edit virtual machine settings. Add the network interface additionally, and then shut it down, and then start your GNS3 again. Okay, that's what you need to do to fix it. So in my case, actually, I'm going to click on the Show Special Ethernet Interfaces. And what else additionally I'm seeing here, except the loopback adapter and Docker, I'm going to also add here, just in case, if I need something. Because when I connect machines and infrastructure to this cloud, it won't allow me. Not supposed to have any links to it to add this. And I might need to use some of these adapters. I don't know. So here they are. All of them are here. I'll say apply. I'll close it. And now my cloud is done. It's prepared. It's done. Actually, you could do it here on the, no, you cannot. You're supposed to do it on the instance. Okay. Then the next thing, what I need is to add here my firewall. Well, to add it, I need to import it. So click on Preferences. It's in my virtual box. I'll say New. You don't have choice. It's supposed to run on the real computer. Then from the list, I'm gonna choose my cloning, which is called firewall W1. I'll say Finish. Don't forget edit portion, which is the most important one. Changing the symbol is not something which is very, although I'm gonna do it. That's the important part. You need to choose 3 adapters, and you need to say allow GNS3 to use any configured virtual adapter. That's the most important part, guys. Well, that's not a device, that's a security device, but that's optional. Everything here is optional. Everything on the network part is mandatory. While I'm here, I'm going to import the other 2 as well. I'll import my server. It's called PDC, Primary Domain Controller. I'll say Finish. I'll do Edit. The same thing here for the network. Very important. 1 adapter. We have 1, but allow GNS3 to use it. And the last one, it's actually this one. we need to use the, and again, the important part here, guys, one adapter allow GNS3 to use. We'll click apply, okay, and actually we're done. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, the first thing you need to do is to implement an additional network interface. So right click on the virtual machine GNS3. You're going to see the adapters here. You need to add additional adapter. For this, if you need, you could ask me or the guys from the IT. It will be network adapter. It will be bridged adapter. I would say replicate physical as well, and connected power on. I'll do finish. Then I'm going to say OK on this. I'll close the GNS3. I'll start my GNS3. And I'll try to import it now to see if it will work. So let's do it. Here it is. I could choose now the VMware. Okay. I'm going to choose the this same parameters I've been using before, and I'm going to enable it. I'll say apply. It is starting automatically as expected. Now, for now, there are no additional messages. It looks okay. We need to see it here green as well, if you remember. I'll minimize it. I'll say okay. Here now it's green. I'll say, well, in that case, I need to reinstall all of this again. These appliances which are on the they won't work. If I open my project, because I changed the source, if I try to drag this one, you see it doesn't find it. So I need to delete these ones, which normally before resides on the GNS3 virtual machine, and I need to import them again. So I'll go File, Import Appliance. I will find out where they are. I will download them after this. I'll use the first one, the toppest one. Once again, what I did, I delete the bridge which I created. So you're not going to do this too. I just came to the network adapter. I click bridge, configure adapter, I remove everything else, and I left only my Ethernet connection. Now I'm going to say OK on this. I'm just going to double check it to see if it's OK. Yeah, it says now bridge. OK. The first one, not the NAT adapter. You need to change the host only. So now I'll go try to start GNS3 and to see what will work. Let's see if it will gonna get an error message. There was no error message, and I was able to open my infrastructure. Let's try again. So I'll open the cloud. I'll put it on GNS3 VM, and I would put my Firefox as well, and then I would connect. I would use the ETH0, which I changed. Okay, I'll start the Firefox. And I will test. First, I'll test the ifconfig. Now that's a good sign. I'm in the same network. That's a good thing. Now let's test Google. And it's an awesome thing. We have access. And the last thing what I'm going to do is to check if I am going to be able to ping this address. And it is 172.26.43.11. Need to ping it. Awesome. That's what we need, guys. Okay, that's very important to be done. Let me just try to ping it from my remote computer from where I'm working. So I'm going to ping it from there as well. 172.26.43.11. And guys, as you see, I'm able even from my remote computer, which is on a separate network, I'm able to ping it. Okay, so that's what we need. So basically, to summarize what we did, the GNS3 is supposed to be shut down when you're doing this. You need to navigate. To your, while the GNS3 is shut down. Once again, that's very important. You navigate to GNS3 virtual machine. Right click. Well, let's do it again. So while the GNS3 is shut down, you need to navigate to VMware. You need to right click on GNS3 virtual machine settings, and you need to change. You don't need to add anything. You need to change the network adapter 1 from cost only to bridge. Okay, that's what you need to do to work. And you need to choose here from the configure part. You need to choose only the Ethernet, your real Ethernet connection. All the virtual adapters supposed to be stopped. Okay, and then you open again your GNS3, and you're going to be able on the adapter ETH0 to have your real network on your real machine replicated, which is very, very important way to be able to finish properly our infrastructure. So you connect ETH0 of the cloud with ETH1 of the firewall. Then you put the switch here. Well, you need to put 2 of them. So when you do the infrastructure the way I show it to you, you started it. Okay. You start the firewalls and the switches first. Okay, and you wait until they're done. Okay.